Many of us feel weighed down, believing we lack the talent, money, or time to meet life's demands. Yet, there's a powerful idea that we might already possess exactly what we need. Guest, how can we start to recognize the hidden strengths or treasures within ourselves that we so often overlook?
It's common to underestimate what we have. I often compare it to the story of a child thrilled by a tooth fairy's gift, only to discover it was something he already owned, just repackaged. Similarly, we tend to dismiss our own gifts as insufficient, not realizing their true value until we actively look for them.
That's a compelling analogy. In practical terms, what steps can people take to uncover these overlooked abilities or resources in their own lives, especially when self-doubt is persistent?
It starts with intentional reflection. For instance, I keep journals for my sons, recording moments that reveal their unique qualities. For adults, this can mean noting small victories or times when you overcame challenges. Over time, these entries highlight patterns of resilience and capability you might ignore otherwise.
So, much like keeping a personal highlight reel, we begin to see that our not enough may actually be more than sufficient. This sets the stage for exploring how these hidden treasures can be used, doesn't it?
Exactly. And this realization leads us to ask, if we already hold the building blocks for success, how can surrendering them our time, talent, or resources multiply their impact?
Transitioning from personal anecdotes, let's examine a familiar scriptural example, the feeding of the 5,000. On the surface, it's a miracle of abundance, but there's a deeper lesson about resourcefulness. Could you explain how the disciples' initial response reflects our own tendencies when faced with overwhelming needs?
The disciples reacted just as we often do. They believed their 5 loaves and 2 fish weren't enough for the crowd. Instead of seeing possibility, they focused on scarcity. This mirrors real-world situations where teams fixate on limited budgets or time instead of creatively utilizing what's available.
That's so true. In fact, studies on innovation reveal that constraints often drive the most creative solutions. How does the story illustrate the power of entrusting our little to a greater purpose?
When the disciples handed over their limited food, it was transformed in ways they couldn't predict. This is like investing a modest skill or resource when placed in the right context or community. Its impact is multiplied. The key is willingness to offer what we have, no matter how small it seems.
And the leftovers 12 baskets suggest that not only was the need met, but there was even overflow. How does this abundance challenge our assumptions about sufficiency, especially in high-pressure environments?
It defies the zero-sum mindset. Abundance often appears when we stop hoarding and start sharing, whether in business, family, or service. Counterintuitively, giving away our 5 and 2 can lead to more than we started with, a lesson supported by studies on generosity's psychological and material returns.
That brings us to a crucial challenge: burnout. The disciples, after serving tirelessly, returned exhausted. In our fast-paced world, many relate to this depletion. Guest, how does the story of their rest with Jesus offer a blueprint for modern self-care?
Jesus' response wasn't to send them away, but to draw them closer for rest and replenishment. This parallels research in occupational psychology, which shows that recovery periods are most effective when they involve meaningful connection, spiritual, relational, or creative, not just passive downtime.
So, it's not just about vacations or sabbaticals, but about seeking renewal in deeper relationships and purpose. How might someone apply this practically, especially those juggling family, work, and community responsibilities?
It might mean integrating moments of gratitude, prayer, or reflection into daily routines like mindful walks, journaling, or connecting with a mentor. Just as athletes need both rest and active recovery, we need both physical breaks and soul-nourishing activities to sustain our calling.
That's a helpful distinction. Do you think this kind of intentional intimacy with purpose actually enhances effectiveness rather than simply preventing burnout?
Absolutely. Studies have shown that individuals who align their work with deeper values report higher satisfaction and resilience. The disciples' intimacy with Jesus equipped them to serve with renewed energy, suggesting that spiritual and emotional alignment can fuel long-term impact.
Let's wrap up by focusing on practical application. Many still wonder if their unique assignment, whether parenting, leading, or volunteering, really matters. What's the recipe for effective impact, and how do we move from feeling inadequate to empowered?
The story outlines 3 core ingredients. First, recognizing your calling, which may come as conviction, desire, or opportunity. Second, trusting that you're equipped, even if you don't feel ready. Often, the needed talents emerge as you act. Third, timing, don't rush ahead or hold back. When these align, your ordinary efforts become extraordinary.
That's insightful. Can you share a hypothetical scenario, perhaps for someone who feels their daily work is insignificant, to illustrate how these principles play out?
Certainly. Imagine a mother who doubts the value of daily routines, meals, bedtime stories, encouragement. When she recognizes this as her assignment, trusts her nurturing instincts, and stays present in the moment, those ordinary acts become the building blocks of her children's character and faith. The impact, multiplied over time, is profound.
So the message is, open the drawer, pull out your 5 and 2, and place them in hands greater than your own. Even if you don't see immediate results, the seeds you plant can yield a harvest beyond your imagination.
Exactly. Whether in business, ministry, or relationships, we're often waiting for more before acting. But history and research show that starting with what you have and trusting it to a larger vision can lead to overflow, not just sufficiency. The challenge is to see your current resources as a gift, not a limitation.